Thank you guys for coming out and allowing us to talk a little bit about this phase of year. I think it should go without saying, maybe the look on my face, we look forward to this time all year long, especially through February and March. We had a great session today, day one of week one. I was able to talk to the guys as a group. Defense was first while the offense met, and then we had offense second. But in talking to the guys before we got started, I kind of shared 3 points of discussion or notes with them. One was an appreciation for them being here during the voluntary period, how much we take that to heart, and how excited we are to progress the work that they've done on their own during the dead period, wherever they were, whether it was in sunny climates or close by. But we look to build on that. Going into phase 2 and phase 3, get into OTAs and mini camp. The second part of it was just talking to them about how the schedule lays out. So phase to phase, and then really broke it down into the weekly and day schedule. So we had some new guys here that haven't been a part of this process yet. So just broke that down for them to kind of give them the lay of the land, to understand how we devise the workouts and the runs, just high level stuff of 2 days a week. We focused on acceleration, deceleration, change of direction, top end speed. The other 2 days of the running sessions, we're focusing more on conditioning. So on how those two will complement each other, and we'll progress them week over week, getting into mini camp, to culminate it in June. And then the same thing, just talked about how the lifts will start, the foundation phase in the weight room, how we'll progress those in 2 separate phases to get us to the end of June. Then the third thing I talked to them about to finish it out before we got moving today was what our mind frame was in here when we ran, in the weight room, and then to carry it throughout the building was earn the right. So we've got a big screen as you enter the weight room, and each year I try to put a message on there. And this year what stuck with all of us as a strength staff was earn the right. We've been fortunate with the Ravens to earn a lot along the way, and this year it's all about earn the right. And it's up to them to decide what that right is. So is it earn the right to start fast, to finish games, to play winning football, to earn the right for one more rep, one more set, whatever that is. So we're taking that as kind of our stance from a mental and perspective standpoint to start this phase 1 and hopefully grow it, get into a training camp, and then a successful 2025 campaign. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
Anything different this year that you've kind of added, especially in phase 1, based off of anything from last year that you decided to change up?
Yeah, foundationally, the phase from last year and then the year prior, it is the same in what we're working on. Now, tools and toys that we've added along the way, we have done that. There's a cool down the way here in the indoor. There's a cool OHM machine. It's an isokinetic machine. It allows us to get real-time data on their force output, whether they're doing heavy work or speed work. So that's a tool we put into play in the weight room. We integrated it last year, being more comprehensive with it this year with a perch system that will measure the bar speed. And again, it's all in the notion of giving the athlete real-time feedback for whatever we're trying to do in that day. If they need to move the bar faster, we've got it on the iPad. If they're moving it too fast for whatever strength quality we're trying to get out of them, we know that we can add more weight and slow it down and talk to them about the why. So it's kind of exciting to add those new toys, in here and in the weight room, but still keep the foundations the same.
Scott, can you use that kind of technology during the pre-draft process? I don't know how involved you are, but like you hear teams bringing guys in and maybe getting a better sense for where they are strength-wise, athletic-wise.
Absolutely. In our scouting department, I'm a biased opinion up here standing in front of you guys, is the best in the business. And so what they'll do is we'll bring in top 30 guys, we'll sit and visit with them. We won't put them through any of the assessments in here during that time. We'll take a lot of their data from their pro days and combine numbers, and then utilize that if they're UDFA or if they're a draft pick, and then we'll be able to implement that with our system when they come in.
When they bring in free agents, did they ever inquire about the weight training that you have here?
Yes, yeah. That's been a big thing over the last, I'd say, five plus years, is when you get in free agents now, they're looking at the whole picture of the building, right? It's not just, contract's a huge part of it, but they're looking at your training room, your weight room, how you operate in those rooms, because they're looking at the entirety of the package as they're in that free agent process. And that's been big. Let's say over the last 3 years, it's really come into play. When we bring in free agents, prior to signing, they're on their visit, we'll talk to them about how we train, historically who we've worked with that may be similar to them. Maybe it's at that point in their career or position-wise, but that we've become much more comprehensive in that regard.
Scott, year 1 to year 2 is often seen as a critical year for body kind of transformations. These guys get acclimated to the NFL. Specifically to Nate Wiggins, what did you see from him in the weight room this past season, and then what hopes do you have for him this offseason?
My hope for Nate is to continue the trajectory, the vertical trajectory the kid's already on. You guys see it on the field. He is a physical freak in his ability to go display his attributes out on the field. And all year last year, Nate did not just everything that we had asked of him, but did it to the fullest degree. And I think you saw that as a young kid coming in, young body, right, young mind, and you saw how he was able to play all 17 games and in the playoffs and play at a high level. So I'm excited for Nick that as we go on to year 2, you'll see even more physical maturation, especially coming out of year 1. You have a lot of draft prep. So you have a lot of, in that process, in the February and the March, they're doing a lot of really, their drills and their training sessions are really centered around what they're going to do in Indianapolis, right? So what we're now, and then that's to your point, Brian, is when we worked through the season last year and we get into now this offseason, moving to this year, now we can work more specifically to his game and playing football. So I'm looking forward to his step he'll make from a physical standpoint.
Scott,
Scott,
obviously.
how have you seen the program overall just evolve in your time being here and taking over the leadership role? How has this program evolved?
Yeah, fortunately, truly blessed to see the evolution over the last couple of years of, you've got this time of the year, then you've got training camp, you've got in season, and the buy-in that the players have allowed us to have in their daily routine and let us truly kind of step into their world and say what we're trying to do in here, whether it's in the indoor or in that weight room, is to help you be the best version of yourself. So when we've evolved, that's allowed us to get more detail with the guys, because as we're working, in training camp, we got 90. So, we divide and conquer. Fortunately, I'm very, very blessed to have a great staff in that regard. Just to, now that I'm talking about it, and I'll come back to your point, Ron Schrift, Kevin Hartman, Kalen Buskey, Anthony Watson have been with me the whole time. And so with that buy-in, we're able to get more detailed. Now, I brought up the fun tools and toys, but now we've got the dialogue that each year I feel like we've gotten even better, and we still have room to grow in helping individualize their program to progress them. Obviously, the spring's huge, but in training camp and throughout the season.
Scott, related to that, but more specifically, injury prevention is so massive for NFL success. The team had a very healthy season last year, but over the last few years, because that was a major topic a few years back with injuries, where do you think as an organization from a strength and conditioning standpoint that you've made strides that maybe have meshed with seeing fewer injuries, whether it's ramping up more slowly, whatever it might be? Where do you guys think that you've made some progress that you've seen that kind of, decrease in injuries?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we have been fortunate in that regard. And I always remind anybody that allows me to talk, and we get on this subject, is you got to have great preparation, and whatever each team or each weight room's preparation is, you got to have great preparation, and that's got to be matched with great luck. And I truly believe over the last couple of years we've seen both of those come together. At the end of the day, it's a very physical game. Things do happen that are outside of your control, and we've been fortunate to avoid those. And if we haven't incurred those situations, they've been more on the short-term side of things, where we've returned guys to play. But I think it comes back to just the point prior to this, with the buy-in of the players, and we're able to individualize kind of their structure of either their lift or their run. That's part of the preparation process. And then I think we've had a great turnout over the past couple of years, and this year included, of this phase. And I truly believe this phase is the foundation of which training camp the whole year is predicated on. So I think those are kind of two things that I hang my hat on, that's allowed success, and obviously you got to pray for the best with the rest.
Scott,
What was it like having Derrick Henry here last year? And did you adopt anything from what he does and you incorporate it into what you guys do?
Yeah, actually, so having Derrick in is incredible. And I'd say the most fun was Derrick. He stayed around after the season for a couple weeks before heading back down to Dallas. And talking to him even more at length, through the season, as you guys probably saw, Derrick's a pro. He comes in, he does his work, he goes about his business, he's out. And getting to know Derrick and getting to dive in even more about what he does in Dallas, it's incredible. And yeah, there's some things that we've taken in. And I'll say this about Derrick: it was this time last year we were talking, and I kind of asked him that question. And I'll ask vets that have been around, and I know they have a real detailed off-season program. A lot of times I'll talk to the trainer or strength coach that they work with, and I said, what do you want to include from what you do in Texas back here? And he said, give me everything you got. He said, I'm a clean slate, give me everything you got. So and I think about that period in the off season when he stuck around for heading back to his family. He brought up there was a workout that he had asked me to write before going on break last year between minicamp and training camp. And by the end of it, long story short, he had his brother doing it, everybody in the weight room doing it. And so there was this nice connection between what he does in Dallas and what we do up here. And as you can see, you saw what he did last year on the field. It's working for the guy.
Scott, I don't think we got a chance to ask you last year about Lamar losing his weight, remaking his body. What was the emphasis for him, and I guess is it the same kind of emphasis this year?
Well, yeah, 100%. With Lamar, it's to take what he did last year and continue that process. As you guys saw, he's in great shape. At this point last year, he is again this year. And then we wanted to just lay down some lean muscle tissue as we got into the season. And you saw that as we got into the season, he was up a few pounds and then played at that MVP caliber level. Obviously, if I had to vote, I know what I would have voted. But that's a plan for this year as well.
Are there any general benchmarks that you look to hit this early on in the process?
In terms of what?
I mean, just each phase. I mean, are you looking
at?
Yeah,
of course. Yeah. So benchmarks. So in the weight room, what we're looking to do is this is called our general preparation phase. So we'll break it up in 2 4-week blocks, and it'll progress in each 4-week block, week over week. But this first phase, this first 4 weeks, we're looking for symmetry. So no matter what they have done or not done, in the last couple months on their free time, we're looking to balance out right to left, front to back. So quad to hamstring, right leg, left leg. So we're looking to kind of rebalance everything out, essentially pour the foundation. Then as we get into that next 4 weeks, we get into OTAs and a mini camp. That's when we'll get into our power phase. So the movements will become a lot more explosive, and then it'll shift from unilateral focus into bilateral. So 2 hands, 2 arms, two legs, barbell on the back. It's much more compound explosive lifts. So that's how we'll progress going through the spring with the break. And then essentially we'll do a similar notion once we start training camp, kind of rebalance the tires on these Ferraris and trucks, and then build the speed, build the power, and we just kind of we undulate through that throughout the entire year.
Scott, obviously Daniel Filelli is a big ball of play. Has the programming for him changed going from a tackle to inside?
Yes, and the program is for him it's evolved, but it's always been the same. Daniel's such a big, strong, and mobile guy. So as we've worked with Big Dan, it's to get him to unlock that next level that he's got into dominating every time he steps out on the field. And you guys saw it this year, having the opportunity to start and play, every offensive series of every game this year. You saw how much better he got. So in the weight room, we're tailoring his ability to do that from a physiological standpoint.
All good? All right. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.